I want to start off with LSU. And, the Florida State game, especially the second half, the game plan offensively, and you can blame some of it on the game plan, you can blame some of it on Jaden not pushing the ball down the field. They seemed to have made the adjustments they needed to make to look like the team that a lot of us thought they could be. I picked them to beat Georgia in the SEC championship game. I know Mississippi State isn't going to win the national championship by any stretch of the imagination. But how are you? How was the feeling down there after watching the way Jaden played, Malik played, getting Mason Smith back, and letting Harold kind of play, normal linebacker with some exotics built in?
Very similar to a year ago, right, guys? I mean, LSU lost to Florida State, and then one of the real interesting storylines, I think, nationally in college football last year was LSU's development throughout the year. They went from a team that looked awful against Florida State. Last year, people remember the block PAT at the end of the game. What you forget is that was a horribly played football game. LSU muffed 2 punts. They had red zone opportunities where they came away with no points. It was drop passes. It was atrocious. But throughout the season, they kept getting better and better. It looks like they're kind of following the same suit. So I think maybe that's the optimist point of view here, is that, again, the early struggle against Florida State, but then you start to figure out with the transfers and the freshmen who fits where. I think there's a general feeling also you would have liked to have had that figured out before the season started, because you might have had a chance to beat Florida State. But, the other thing, sort of like if it's, part and parcel with that, is when you looked at what happened in the rest of the SEC this past weekend, I think that gave everyone around here the collective feeling like, well, maybe it's not so bad because the rest of the league kind of stinks too.
Yeah. And that kind of leads me to my next question. How much better is everybody feeling? And look, I know this Alabama-Ole Miss game is going to tell us a lot, but going down to Tuscaloosa has got to feel a little bit different right now than it felt before we kicked off in week 1.
So, yes. And I mean, Jake, I'm like you. I picked LSU to win the West. I picked them to beat Georgia in the SEC championship game and go to the playoff. I would have told y'all that in media days, but I ghosted your interview, and that was my fault because I'm a bad human.
That's why we have somebody waiting at your house right now for when you walk
there's
out.
A dragon circling.
Yeah, there's a dragon circling your house right now.
No, but watching Bama the last 2 weeks clearly illustrates the issues that they have. And the reason I liked LSU in the SEC this year isn't because I'm an unapologetic homer. I think this is the worst quarterback year in the league since 2014. And LSU was the only team that had a dude at that position. I guess Arkansas, but nobody's really thinking Arkansas is a threat. I mean, Jaden Daniels is the differentiator. LSU has their guy who can be a dude. So we came into this season, guys, with the second best Heisman odds behind only Caleb Williams. He accounted for 70% of LSU's offense last year. He's started 50 games in college. And then you look at Jalen Milroe or Ty Simpson, Tyler Buckner. I mean, I don't think anybody here is super worried about Jackson Dart. I think Bama's struggles are kind of go hand in hand with why people are feeling more confident right now. What a crazy difference 2 weeks makes.
Yeah. And David, the best continent. Continuity.
That's continuity?
What LSU has.
Yeah, I love it. Look at that wordsmith over there. But the entire landscape of the SEC, Matt, is fascinating to me right now. I mean, throw Texas A&M in there too. Texas A&M, LSU, Alabama, Arkansas, all in the West right now, all with a loss. But those losses are non-conference losses. In the East, no one wants to step up and be the second best team in the East. We just saw Tennessee lose on the road at Florida. Kentucky's kind of struggling. South Carolina. I mean, if you were remaking your SEC predictions right now, would you change anything, or do you think LSU still goes to the championship game, plays Georgia, and beats them? Because that's what I had as well at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, no, Cone, I wouldn't change it because I think what's transpired is what I thought would transpire. And here's how I would say it. For LSU, whenever I'm doing a preseason prediction, I'm not saying this is right or wrong. It's just what I do. Like, we all go to media days and we get the little email and we have to fill out our forms and all that stuff. I always say, okay, who has the fewest questions against the most manageable schedule? That's how I look at it.
Mm-hmm.
So when I looked at LSU, obviously we just talked about quarterback, but think about the schedule. Tennessee rotated off, Missouri rotated on. You get Florida, Auburn, Texas A&M all at home. And say what you will about those teams, those are all tough places to play. Going to Jordan-Hare is never easy. Tennessee just realized again for the 10th straight time, trying to win in Gainesville is hard. LSU lost as a double-digit favorite last year in College Station. So you get all those games at home. Then you got to go to Bama. But LSU, quite honestly, guys, LSU's had more success historically in Tuscaloosa than they have in Baton Rouge in that series. And Bama doesn't look great this year. So I looked at the schedule and went, I like that a lot. So, yeah, Cone, I don't think there's any reason to move off of what I thought. And then in the East, who's going to challenge Georgia? I mean, Georgia has to go to Knoxville. So, I mean, maybe if Tennessee could pick themselves up and run the table the rest of the way, obviously they'd have a tiebreaker over Georgia if they beat them in Knoxville. I just don't know that I think that's going to happen.
Only shot.
I saw from Tennessee.
Only shot.
Yeah.
It's the only shot. Kentucky's not very good. I know they're undefeated. They're not very good. I've watched them play.
No, I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
And Georgia gets Mississippi State.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to go to the Saints for a second. Ugly game on Monday night, but the Saints are 2-0. They find a way to win on the road, divisional opponent. How are you feeling about the Saints right now?
Black and gold Super Bowl. LFG. Come on, y'all. You kidding me? We got
LSU versus the Saints.
LSU versus Saints. Who you taking?
I mean, are you kidding me? You got Trevor Penning over there at left tackle, but it doesn't seem to matter that he couldn't block me. We got one of the Carr brothers at quarterback. Let's do this thing.
Yeah.
No, look here. I think the Saints defense is awesome. That's apparent. Yeah. Dennis Allen, I do not believe will ever be a great head coach, but I think he is a fantastic defensive coordinator. And his defense is he knows what he's looking for, and they remade their front seven this year with some new bodies, including Brian Brzee from Clemson, who was a first-round draft pick, who's a monster right now. They look great, man. The defense is great. I just don't know how this offense figures it out. The one thing that I'll say in favor of the Saints, why I did pick them to win, I picked the Saints 10-7 and winning the division and losing in the wild card round. But the reason, look at the quarterbacks that the Saints play this year. I don't think you've done a deep dive into the schedule, but if I asked you who are the best quarterbacks in the NFL, you'd rattle off Mahomes, Herbert, Allen, Hurts, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Dak. They don't play any of them.
Yeah.
I mean, they get all of the first round rookies. The toughest quarterback legitimately that the Saints play this year is probably Trevor Lawrence or Jared Goff. I mean,
that's the benefit of playing in that division.
The division stinks. You're gonna play Baker Mayfield twice. You're gonna play Bryce Young twice. You're gonna play Desmond Ridder twice. I mean, the Saints will be an artificial double-digit win team that almost like the Vikings a year ago, where you look and you go, 13 wins? Like, is that for real? And then you saw in the playoffs, it wasn't.
Guys, look, you want to know what's in this cup? It's coffee. You want to know what type of coffee? It's Black Rifle coffee. You want to know why? Because I'm an American and I like drinking good coffee. I don't want to drink any of that hot dog water everybody else has. All right? I have it every morning. I don't even know if caffeine does anything to me anymore. I think it's just a placebo effect. But if you want great taste, listen what I'm about to drop on you right here. They have ready-to-drink cans for people that have no time to brew coffee if you're running a hurry-up, no-huddle offense as well. All right? But they just launched their Halloween pumpkin spice collection.
Oh, this right here?
Yeah, featuring the Headless Horseman's Roast. And listen to this. Buckle your seatbelt, David. The ready-to-drink pumpkin spice espresso. I don't know, something like, oh, pumpkin spice. Oh, pumpkin spice. Come on, man.
Fall, baby.
It's fall. All right, fall into it. Grow up a little bit. All right, you don't have to make fun of it. Embrace it. If you don't like pumpkin, guess what? That's fine. They've got other stuff like Gunship, or I don't know.
Please say you don't like Gunship.
Yeah, please say you don't like Gunship. Hold on, what's that noise outside?
Yeah, that's my house shaking.
Yeah, that's a great point. All right, what do you got over there, David?
Well, I got the Headless Horseman with Ichabod Crane here, but what I just realized, and I had to Google it, Ichabod Crane does spell his name like the bird.
He does.
He's not part of your tree.
Well, Ancestry.com did.
Okay, he's a cousin.
Yeah, well, like it's cousin by like friends. You know, he's like my friend, like this is my cousin. But ever since the Headless Horseman stuff, we don't mess with it anymore.
Yeah, weird stuff.
I don't want
I
that.
got Ichabod Crane and I got Blackbeard over here.
Yeah, Blackbeard's delight. That's exactly right. So make sure you check out Black Rifle Coffee. Stop running out of coffee. Sign up for the Coffee Club subscription. Go to blackriflecoffee.com. Use our promo code BOOSTER, BOOSTER, at checkout for 10% off your order. That's blackriflecoffee.com. Use that promo code. You get 10% off. Black Rifle Coffee, America's coffee. Yay.
So I don't think the Saints are a legit contender in the NFC. Okay, like I don't think they're going to win the NFC, go to the Super Bowl, but I do think they're going to win the division by virtue of the fact they got a great defense, a veteran quarterback, and a very manageable schedule.
I love it.
Yeah.
Love it. All right, Trader Matt, we're going to go to the Booster Club here. Let's go to Nola June. Okay. You take that off.
That's a really
You take that off.
That's a really weird Braves logo.
Yeah.
I will not have my allegiance questioned. Okay?
Oh, really?
All
after
I said
after the
to
things
you-
you said during SEC
all
Media Day.
all I said to you is I was emotionally detached this season. And I am. I'm not allowing myself to care at the fact that they can't beat Toronto, but good for Kevin Gosman.
Yeah, here in a couple of weeks, though, y'all will be physically detached from the season.
I wonder how much Braves stuff
and
you
you
got
know what?
there. You're
I
not
got
on
something for
camera.
you, Matt. Hold on. I got something for you, Matt. There you go, brother.
Good. Doesn't it just
Don't
feel
you know
right? Doesn't it just
Hey,
feel
Cone.
right?
Yeah.
Cone, it doesn't count if you have to steal it from Florida State, bro.
I'm a Rangers fan now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cone did the
Cone
same thing you did.
Yeah, Cone switched up. He's a Rangers fan now. I'm over here like Jon
But-
Snow pulling the sword out.
I'm just kidding. I'll
I
always
will
be a
not
Braves
allow my
fan.
words to be twisted. What I said was I'm emotionally detached.
You
I'm
did
not
say
gonna-
that.
I said that. And the other thing I said, as far as the Braves, anyone who has ever followed my show knows I despise bunting. I'm a never bunt guy. There's a reason
Never bunter.
in baseball. There's a reason in baseball, in Major League Baseball, why bunting is at a 40-year low. It's because there's never been more analytics, and the analytics show that that is not analytically the best play. There is never a situation where mathematically you are more likely to score a run when you give up and out. There is literally not a single mathematic probability where you're more likely to score a run when you give up and out. So I told you that there are only two teams in the history of baseball that had not had one sacrifice bunt before the All-Star break. And it was the 2023 Braves and the 2022 Braves. So for that, I salute them for saying, you know what? Never bunt, swing away, hit
Well,
homers.
that's why when they hired Kent Murphy to be the hitting coach in 2022, I knew it was going to work out.
Only thing I heard
I'm
was that
sweating,
I'm a
though, so I
Braves
have
fan.
to take the hat.
All right. No one wants to know, what are the chances that y'all beat Ole Miss and Mizzou back-to-back on the road? Doesn't feel likely.
I would tell you LSU will be a favorite in both games. And I do think that they will win both games. Ole Miss having to play Bama the week before LSU is a huge advantage for LSU because Ole Miss is going to go play Bama, and that's going to be a tough physical game no matter what. And I'm not worried about Missouri. The game I'm worried about is Auburn because I do believe Auburn with Hugh Freeze will beat someone this year they have no business beating.
Mm-hmm.
And they have an open date before they come to Baton Rouge, whereas LSU has back-to-back road conference games before they host Auburn. So if you're looking at where's the landmine, I think it's Auburn, not the two you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go to JC, who wants to know what's your thoughts on the Ohio State-Notre Dame game this weekend?
Your buddy
I
Brian
don't think
Driscoll over at Notre Dame says what's up.
I-
Dude, y'all buried that guy. We had that poor dude. That poor dude.
Never
Well,
heard
he
from him
buried
again.
himself.
Yeah.
He buried himself saying that stuff about Brian Kelly. Oh, man.
I
Sorry,
mean,
go ahead.
Very reasonable question, you know.
Yeah,
God
David
bless.
set
Like,
him up.
No.
David set
David threw
No,
the-
I did
him
not.
up.
That
Yo,
guy-
you threw the oop.
You threw the oop.
And you can either
I mean-
dunk it or you can get hung.
it's like I get the jilted lover thing, but look, Notre Dame's playing really well, man.
They are.
And so if you're a Notre Dame fan, you shouldn't care what Brian Kelly's doing. I still believe Notre Dame isn't going to win a national championship until they decide they're going to let 85 scholarship football players in that look like Alabama and LSU or Ohio State or whatever. But I think Ohio State hasn't figured out their offense. I'm not super convinced that Ryan Day is the guy that's going to get that thing back to a national championship level. So I actually do like Notre Dame in that game.
Okay, real
And,
quick.
and by the way, Sam Hartman is awesome. Like
He
he's
is
playing
awesome.
out of
He
his
is
mind.
awesome.
Good.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's also played in college for 19 years, so you think eventually he'd figure it out. No, we really like Sam Hartman. Before you go, real quickly, LSU Arkansas this weekend. LSU 18.5 point favorite. I've seen it at 17.5 in some books. Any worry about the Hogs? Probably no Rocket Sanders. I feel like LSU rolls in this. I love the under.
That game historically is always close. Laying 18, I wouldn't do that in this game. I don't know that it's a game though where LSU ever really feels threatened. One thing I'll tell y'all just real quickly is Emotionally, this has always been a game that Arkansas cares way more about than LSU. And it's always fallen on the schedule at a place that was kind of advantageous for Arkansas. That Friday after Thanksgiving 1:30 slot, LSU always resented it. Arkansas loved it. When LSU finally got that thing moved off and they started playing A&M in that Thanksgiving date, they moved the Arkansas game, but they moved it the week after Bama. So it was always on a come down after LSU played Bama. So Arkansas was up, LSU was down. That's not excuse making. That's just reality. The fact that it's in September feels so benign that I don't think emotion plays a factor in this game. That's something worth watching. But Arkansas generally is sky high for this game. So I'd like LSU to win and never really feel through. Maybe like the Georgia-South Carolina game last week where even though South Carolina had moments, you never really felt like Georgia was going to lose the game. Probably something similar to that.
Hey, YouTube, do us a favor. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. Turn those notifications on. We really appreciate it.